Yeah, and I also got a text, I believe, the live stream to YouTube is not turning the audio.
Okay, thanks.
It might be the possibly an OBS issue.
I believe I'm checking the audio settings now. Ah, my Zoom audio got disconnected. That is the problem.
Okay, they have audio now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hold that.
Yes, I can hear you. This is Daryl. I can hear you.
And yes, Ben, those that are watching it on YouTube do have audio now. Thank you.
Okay. You want to maybe come over there?
Okay, you might want to run quickly back through your PowerPoint.
How do I go backwards? Take me back a couple slides. Okay, so we'll pick it up. We're going to pick it up from here. There might be a little overlap, but we're not quite sure when the sound went out for our viewing audience. So again, the first full year the budget was prepared in 2019 for calendar year 2020. We did not contemplate, obviously the COVID-19 shutdown happened in March, just as golf was getting ready to open. And then that continued to have a spillover effect. The pool at Arrowhead opened up, over a month late. And then throughout the course of the year, banquet events all but disappeared. So the operating budget submitted for 2020 forecasted a net income of plus $15,000, just under $15,000. And that's a very narrow, thin margin, but we had a lot of ground to overcome from the previous management that was there, left us in a bad spot. What did we end up actually doing? Well, the actual operating income was a minus $37,521. So, all in all, given a $1.2 million operating fund there, almost a break even in the COVID year. That's quite remarkable, all things considered. So in 2020, there have been some other golf courses closed or sold. We believe that's going to bring even more business to the facility in 2021. The budget that was submitted for 2021 forecasts a net income of plus $88,000. And we want you to keep in mind that, we're looking at the trend here. The trend is in the right direction. We know that things will change. We don't know how the COVID will play out this year, if we'll actually get back to normal. But we did book an event, a banquet in March for a wedding, and we think that's a good thing to come in 2021. These are the capital investments that we've made here kind of in the off season. We've improved the situation in the kitchen. We had some health code issues there as well. Swimming pool was improved, water service throughout, banquet, accessories, fire protection services, the dining rooms, walkways. The overall appearance in and around the main facility have all been improved, and we're getting tremendous amounts of positive feedback from the people that are going down there. Keep in mind that after golf had closed in November of 19, and then until it reopened in the mid-pandemic, the city put in $50,000 twice into the operating account per the management agreement. We have to keep that operating account at $50,000 when it falls below. Now, also we had said at that time that in the event when the operating account goes above $50,000, the city seeks to get that money back. And the first return of that money came in October of 2020 when we received $50,000. And then the second one occurred in December of 2020 when we got the other $50,000 back. That is a remarkable place to be given where we've come from. So when we look at the 2020, 2021 off season, like now from November of 20 to March of 21 here, that off season, you know, where we're at today is we're able to make it through that time without a request for additional funds to the operating account. So you think of where we were a year ago, you know, 15 months ago compared to where we are now. It's a tremendous improvement down there. So the additional capital improvement considerations for this year, as you budgeted earlier, you budgeted for pickleball courts and building maintenance. But due to all the improvements that were down there, you now have on your agenda tonight, first floor carpeting. With all the improvements that were made, the 30-year-old carpet now really stands out as an eyesore, and now's the time to get it done before the facility opens back up. And that is the nature of why we're here tonight. And I just thought it would be helpful for you all to understand a quick recap on the journey before you make deliberations on this. Thank you, Stephanie.
So where do they live? They live in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, but they live up.
Thank you for that. No problem with any of the little issues. That was very informative. Does anybody have any questions?
Hey, Stephanie,
Yep.
Dom and Mark will abstain from talking about it.
I thought so, yes. I'm sorry, I meant to even give you the opportunity to not even be a part of that, So, okay, if there aren't any others, then I move that we move that to the agenda.
Yeah, and Patrick, we need this on emergency, correct?
Yes, we do, sir.
You won't get it on emergency.
Oh, never mind. You're right. We can't.
Oh, you only have 5 votes.
That's right.
Let's do it. Let's do a couple specials, Jeff.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just a couple quick specials, 5-10 minutes, and we got it done. 2 days.
Great idea.
Yeah, that works for me. That way we can get
Well,
this.
could we do a
moved
special
quick.
then next week before the other meeting?
Sure can. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, we can do that.
This is Catherine. I just wanted to chime in one thing. I talked to the banquet event manager today, and actually, I didn't even share with you, Patrick. She now has 4 events booked. I mean, things are already turning around. 4 events, and they're just so appreciative and excited about improvements being made there. People are seeing them, and more people will see them. And this carpet situation up there, it's not just dated; it is damaged, and it's bad. So they think once they get that replaced, it'll be even more of a notice and even more people wanting to book things at that beautiful event center.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Patrick, you had also, I'm sorry, Jeff, Patrick, and I don't know if you want to add it now or not, but he wanted to talk about electric aggregation under my committee.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that right now?
We still need to vote on this item.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
Hold on a second. Before we vote, Jeff, Daryl here. You could do a special on Friday, just a quick one on Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, and maybe one on Saturday morning at 9 or something, and then you do your third reading on Monday. Or you can spill it over into next week. Your pleasure.
Daryl, why don't we discuss?
That's a good idea, Daryl.
I want to do it on Saturday morning.
Friday's not good for me.
That's not great for me either.
Hey, just to piggyback, I wanted to comment, Patrick, on the PowerPoint. That was great recap. And I'm in a league out there, and the guys are really excited about all the improvements. I think we're going to pick up pool memberships if we haven't from year to year. I don't know that, but the pool looks great. And just cutting down the trees and getting the greens right and taking care of the sand trap areas, it's made a world of difference to people that golf on that course. So I wanted to compliment the administration for their leadership on this with the management team we have out there.
Hey, and Patrick, I agree too. I was just talking to some friends, and they said they couldn't believe the difference from the fence to just the upkeep around the outside of the building, the walking that they've done, the greens. It was a world of difference. Oh, another side note. Did you guys know that, oh my gosh, the one guy is now working up at the Medina Country Club? I'm sorry, the past person who was there, Scott. Scott
We don't
Denisi.
wanna talk- we don't talk about that.
Okay, well, I just wanted you to know.
Okay.
Lucky them.
So we're moving this forward then to council, correct?
Yep,
Oh, you've got a motion and a second, I
I
think.
have a motion, yeah.
Revoltal second.
Okay.
President Peters is experiencing audio difficulties at the moment. So hold on.
Well, I'm sure Vice President Revolt would love to jump into the spotlight if he got 4 votes to move it forward.
Yeah, do I have, are there all in favor of moving this forward? Well, I tell you what, because we've got 2 on the sideline, I probably ought to have a little roll call. Revolt votes yes. Warren?
Yes.
Troya?
Yes.
Bolt?
Yes.
And I'm missing Pete. We've got 4, so we're ready to go on. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda tonight to include item 3B, electric aggregation?
So moved, Warren.
Revolt seconds.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, Mrs. Warren.
Patrick, I'm gonna let you take it over.
All right, thank you so much, and I apologize for having to ask to amend the agenda tonight, but this is a process that's been started, a couple months ago, and I just met with our electric aggregation team at 3 o'clock today, and so it happened to be having a committee meeting tonight. I couldn't resist trying to speed this process up, being efficient. Our current electric program expires in June of this year, and there's a lot of steps that need to be done in order to make sure there's a seamless transition. So that's kind of the sense of urgency that I had in wanting to get this on tonight. So we have quotes that have come in, and they're good for 30 days. We received those quotes into our broker on February 10th. So we have till March 10th, or the pricing won't be good. So we will need to move this on an emergency to continue this electric aggregation program when it gets to council for its first reading. As a recap, last cycle, the last 2-year contract that we did, the aggregation rate that the city of North Canton had achieved was 5.15 cents. That's what it was. That's the program that's expiring June 21st. So we received quotes this time around from 8 different suppliers. That's an increase. And we received 65 different proposals from those 8 suppliers. We were looking at all kinds of multiple variations. I wanted to see a 12-month contract, a 24-month contract, 36 months. And if somebody could even offer a 48-month, I was interested in seeing that as well. We also made it a standard pitch on this that there are no early termination fees. So if you get into this program, you opt into this, and you want out because you think you can find a better deal, and you find a better deal, more power to you. You may opt out, and there's no penalty for opting out of our plan. Now, that's not true in all the other plans that you can get in, where you may sign up for 12 months, and if you want to leave early, they're going to ding you for a penalty on that. But ours is not like that way. So the electricity environment today is currently trading lower than where we were 2 years ago when we struck. And this is a low point that we haven't had like ever. So this is really low. It's my recommendation that we obviously continue this program, but enter into a 47 month contract, and the rate would be 0.0434. So that's 0.0434 cents. So
Wow.
that's a reduction over what we had before at 0.0515. The difference is 0.0081, and that adds up to our customers. We have seen On average, about close to 3,000 households be involved in this program. On average, we have had higher peaks. You know, people come in, people get out, kind of thing. It's been as high as like 4,000, but still a very nice benefit to those that sign up for it. And we need to get the word out. The energy supplier that has the best number for us is Energy Harbor, and they have the 0.0434 rate. So we would like to go with them. Now, one of the things that you all probably hear about in your regular work, and where you're at, and as you socialize, is the whole thing with, you know, the coming wave of electrification for vehicles. And you've probably heard the new president, Biden, talk about having the entire fleet of the United States government on electric vehicles by 2025. Many other countries are moving that way. States are moving that way by 2025. In any event, what I think is a situation that our consultants agree with is that, you know, there's going to be a large demand for electricity in the next few years. It would make sense to lock this up for almost a 4-year period and avoid a lot of that potential early demand that could cause prices to spike until they're able to build out an electric grid to support all those vehicles. So that kind of covers it in a nutshell. We need to get this agreement approved by March 10th. We have to get out to our customers. We have to get them notices that they can opt out. And then these letters are sent out. There's a 21-day period for the people to opt out of this. And if they don't opt out, then they're automatically in. And we know we get a lot of questions from the community at that time. We don't want to put them in a jam where we're behind schedule. So,
Patrick, Dom here.
Yes, Dom.
So real quick, the difference of the drop in price locked in for, say, 4 years roughly, like just in English, what does that mean to the consumer, the constituent? Like, say, for example, my electric bill is $150 a month or even $200 a month. What would that mean? Like, what would that look like? $10 a month savings, $20 a month savings? How do you figure that out real quick? Because I'm sure people are going to want to know if it's a big savings, any savings at all.
Well, I mean, because the amount is so small, Dom, it's, you know, 0.0081 of a cent. That is not even a full cent. That's 81 thousandths of a cent.
Okay.
What does it mean? It means that they probably save $7 to $10 a year.
Okay.
We were already at a very low number. And now we're at a low number that it's hard to get. There is a site out there for people. The state of Ohio has an apples to apples fixed rate comparison where you can go in and see what your electric aggregator is at and where you could go on your own and get a good rate or try to. We just did that here for this period of time here in February when we received these quotes. And what's out there now for a 36-month, the average is 5.65. So, you know, it's not as much of a savings from the previous time, but it's a very meaningful savings over what you can get out there on your own. So this shows that the electric aggregation program works. It's worth continuing. And, you know, there are like 3,000 homes in the city that take advantage of that.
Yeah. Thanks, Pat.
Hey, Pat, this is Soretta. I'm one of those guys that gets on those sites. You know, I do it for gas and electric, and that's low, what you agreed on. That is very low. And to answer one of Dom's questions, it's not necessarily, it's so low right now that this kind of guarantees you that it's not going to go up. That's where people should be thinking about right now, because I think they're at a very low rate right now. So if you can lock in for a low rate, you're pretty secure that you're not going to pay more rather than, you know, less, because it is pretty low right now. So nice job,
Great
Pat.
point. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, nice work, Patrick.
Hey, this is Stroya. That's the lowest rate I've seen, and I completely agree with your outlook. Is there's going to be drastically more electric use over the next few years to lock in for that long, I think that's great. So I'm all for that. Good job, Patrick.
Thank you, sir.
This is Catherine. I just wanted to say to Dominic and to people that, your constituents reach out to you. We get calls a lot like this. A lot of our elderly residents confused. They may have people, private vendors, that knocking on their doors, trying to get them to switch. Always go to the PUCO, Public Utilities Commission site for the apples to apples if they want to do comparisons. But they are automatically opted into this program. And they have a lot of questions about, opting out. Sometimes when public city hall was open, they would come in and talk to us. And they'd have questions and we would try to help them. So in case you get those kind of questions.
Out of curiosity, when everybody was listening to Catherine speak, did it sound kind of funky?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
She sounded like a robot.
Catherine, it didn't come through very well. So what she was basically saying is that we get a lot of people that call us and a lot of people that stop in and want to talk to us about how the program works and what it means to them. And they often bring in their utility bills for us to help them figure it out. And so if you get questions like that, I think what she was saying is that you could refer them up to City Hall.
Hey, Patrick.
Yes, sir.
Patrick, this is Peters. I lost audio for a little bit there. I missed the first part. Could you real quick give me what the term is you're looking to go for on this?
I'm looking to go for a 47-month term, Jeff, at the 0.34 rate. I believe, as both Mark and Matt have said, we anticipate with what's happening in the marketplace that there'll be a spike in energy prices. So if we can lock in this low rate for as long as possible, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
To go ahead and do that.
Yep, I agree. That's a good rate. All right.
Patrick, one other quick question. Does that apply to local small businesses in North Canton as well as residential customers?
This is for residential.
Okay. All right, and that's on emergency as well. Steph, are you on there?
I have enough. Yep.
What is this?
Okay, so I will just move that we move it to the agenda.
Is there a second?
Both seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, we'll move that on to the next council agenda. And Patrick, you're good? We're done?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on. Personnel and safety. Patrick, I'm going to turn this first part over to you.
Actually, it's going to be to Ben and to Gina.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
no,
to Ben
I'm
and
sorry.
Gina. No, this is you.
Which one is this?
This is the vehicle
Oh,
exhaust.
my bad.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm at City Hall here with Ben and I didn't look at the screen.
No worries.
So, yes. So, the North Canton Fire Station 1 is in need of a vehicle exhaust venting system. They pull the ambulances and fire trucks in there. The exhaust is running when they start them up and get in there and open the doors and get out. So for their safety, we want to install this vehicle exhaust venting system. And Chief Bacon did a wonderful job applying to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, and obtained a grant. My recollection was, I believe it's $250,000 grant. Gina may have to correct me on that. But it's a very substantial project beyond that. But we would like to get this going so that we can get the quoting in, get the grant accepted, and begin this project and get it done this year. So we need to advertise and receive bids for that. And we're looking for support from council to move ahead.
All right. It sounds good to me. Any questions for Patrick from council?
Nope.
Okay. This on emergency as well. If there's no further questions, I'll motion that we move this to the committee. or council, next to council agenda. Is there a second?
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Patrick. Okay, and the next item, that will be Ben and Gina going over that for us, the Dependents Fund Board. So, Ben?
Yeah, so the Volunteer Firefighters Dependents Fund Board, or VFDFB, is something we are required to have by Ohio Revised Code, Chapter 146, because we employ volunteer firefighters, and how they define volunteer is that they don't qualify for the Ohio Police and Fire Pension Fund. So we've had this board in the city for quite a few years, but unfortunately last year we missed the election period to select members of this board. And so thankfully, the firefighter who's been assisting with this board, Gary Cohen, was able to bring this to our attention, and there are some provisions of the Ohio Revised Code that give us, the city, some power to make decisions on who sits on this board. And I could not find in my research a historical ordinance that made these decisions. So the ordinance that you have before you today makes those decisions about who sits on this board in order for us to hold the special elections we need to have to fill this board for the coming year. What this board, the only function of this board is if a volunteer firefighter were to very unfortunately die in the line of duty, this board helps to distribute pension benefits to their dependents. As I'm sure some of you are wondering, the questions that the ORC gives us to decide are, first, 2 members must be elected by the legislative authority, either from members of the legislative authority or anybody else. As I've written it tonight, the draft you have sets it as anybody else, not 2 members of council. And it would be my personal recommendation, although you don't necessarily need to follow that, the director of finance and the clerk of council just sort of traditionally become council's appointees to ensure that we have some continuity there. The second decision is the next 2 members of the board can either be any member of the fire department or limited to just volunteer members of the fire department. And the draft you have tonight goes with the broader option of any members of the fire department.
Ben, I have a question.
Okay.
As it stands now, if we were to unfortunately lose a firefighter, how is it handled now?
So it depends on if it's a volunteer firefighter or a full-time firefighter.
This is volunteer.
So this applies only to volunteers. And so their dependents would make a claim through this board, and this board would either approve it or deny it, and then the state of Ohio would pay out that claim, not the city.
Right, but sans the board, if that was to happen to a volunteer firefighter now, how would that work? What would it do?
There is no other function other than this board. I mean, we have this board right now, in name at least. We just hadn't filled it. And so we want to make sure that if this were to happen, God forbid, we don't end up accidentally denying somebody their benefits simply because we didn't fill this board.
I got you. I'm following now. Okay. Any questions for Ben from council?
Nope, that makes great sense. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Very good. Good work, Ben. Okay. Anyone else need to weigh in on that?
So just for context of where we'll go from here, the plan is that you'll pass this on emergency on the 22nd, and then we'll have special elections sometime the first week of March, which will include the 7 of you voting for who your 2 representatives will be.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Sounds
On
good.
that, when we go to, can you put a one pager together on the timetable on how we're going to do that for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Thank you, Ben.
Do you need to vote to get this thing on?
I do, Daryl. Thank you so much. Is there a motion and a second to move this to the council agenda under emergency clause?
Revolt will move.
Bold seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion carries. Okay. That concludes our agenda. Thanks, everyone. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Jordan moves.
Bold seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Be safe.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.